Hello there. Welcome, everyone. Erin here. If you've been following along all week with the creative design team, you know we are collaborating and celebrating Christmas in July. So we all get into the Christmas spirit, come the Christmas season, which is right around the corner. But it's always fun to kind of bust into your Christmas supplies in July and get some Christmas projects done, whether it be Christmas cards, if you're getting a jump start, or maybe catching up on old scrapbooked Christmas photos, which in that case is what I'm doing. So, just to keep it simple, I have selected this sketch from the creative design team sketchbook, and this one is volume 2. So, I selected this sketch because it fit my photos quite nicely. I did alter it a little bit. You'll see this is a 5x7, and I switched that up a little bit. So, we've got lots of Christmas photos, and what this is Christmas Eve. So, I printed this one to go here. I'm just following along, kind of looking at my photos, thinking, which one can I put in what space? Now, this one I didn't have, you'll notice it calls for another landscape 6x4. I had an extra photo and they were both portrait style. So it's a sorry about the glare, super easy switch just to make it a 4x6 landscape with two 3x3 portrait style photos. So that one's going to go there. And then I've got my husband there. And then for my little accent photos, of course, we're all unwrapping presents on Christmas Eve. That is when we have our big family dinner and, open the gifts, exchange the gifts and all of that. So the cats get really excited jumping in the packaging. There's little Dave there. Is that not adorable? So I just printed out some smaller accent photos. So you'll see there's a couple stacked here and then one over here. So I really love the photo placement on this particular sketch. And so those are going to go just like that. Now, I'm a sucker for traditional Christmas colors, and I am using some very traditional reds and greens, but you'll notice this packet here. This was from last year. It's called a Little Bit Festive, and there is blue in here, and I see a ton of blue. My family, we're all wearing blue jeans, and then Clayton here has a blue plaid cowboy western shirt on. So I thought, you know what? This is going to be a great opportunity to use up this paper pack. Plus, this particular kit had a ton of punch out ephemera. And what that means is embellishing is really quick and easy, right? When we have all those bits and pieces to create with. Now these are bright, bold patterns, so I think a little bit of white space will be nice. I'm going to build my layout on some white Willow cardstock here. So I have, if you look at that sketch, there's just a little bit of that base cardstock showing around the top and outside edge and bottom. So you could absolutely go with a colorful cardstock background if that is your preference. But I think, like I said, a little white space will be good. I have selected my papers following along with the sketch. So you'll notice there's a, panel, whether that be cardstock or pattern paper here. And then on the bottom, we've got a little strip. And then the photos cover the center. Now remember, my photo is not a 5x7. It's a little bit smaller. So what I'm thinking is, and I haven't fully cut these down yet, we will trim them up. I'm not sure how big of a margin I want to go. So I was thinking that one on the top, and then this is quite handy because it was the opposite side. And then our classic little candy cane stripe here. And then if you bring in the photos as designed, so let's just do that and see, I can always butt these together to kind of make that, seem like it's all connected to the photos. So we don't have to bring in something to back those. So we'll just kind of bring these in, and then our little supporting photos. I think I had that kind of like that. Hayden's legs are all beat up. He's a mountain biker, so he's always got scratches and whatnot on his shins. So maybe we can kind of camouflage that. So I don't quite like how that one's hanging off the bottom. And then this one will go here. So I like it, but I do want to bring in more of that blue. And I'm wondering, again, my photos are smaller. So if I had this big, 5x7 photo, it would really fill up this space, but I went with a 4x6. So I think we're going to need to bring in a different paper. And I have two patterns, one on top, one on the bottom. So I'm thinking a solid would definitely be good in this situation. I did cut down a sheet of Misty Moonlight in half. So we've got two 12 by 6 selections. So let's just see what this looks like. And now we can kind of bump these back down. So we're going a little bit rogue, not following along with this sketch, but I think this is going to be good. So you can see how nicely that brings in the blues right there. And then let's bring this back in. And you could now with the mat, we could kind of space these out, but maybe we want to keep them clustered together. That looks a lot better. I think that that solid cardstock background, let's bump this one up here. That really makes those photos stand out as opposed to them being right on the pattern paper. So I think that that was a good move. Let's go ahead and bring this one in for the opposite side. I think I will end up doing a 1/2 inch border around the outside. And I'm definitely going to want to ink up these papers, especially this one where you have the white bits going onto the white background. We want a hard stop there, and a little inking will definitely do the trick. So I want to make sure that my photos are creating a nice line across the center. These ones are at the same height, and then we'll bring these guys back in right about there. Again, I think I want those connected. Perfect. I'm really liking that. I am going to ink up the edges with a little bit of black ink. I won't make you watch the whole thing. And I just was looking, I realized I forgot a photo. I had wrapped everything at this particular Christmas. This was a couple years ago. I was still a maker with close to my heart. So I had a ton of close to my heart boxes, and everything got wrapped in close to my heart boxes. And I have a picture of Clayton, and it was really funny because he unopened it and he's like, "Oh, Mom, you got me scrapbooking supplies." So I need to go find that photo because I definitely want to include that. He did not get scrapbooking supplies, but it was really funny when he first opened it and the thought crossed his mind that that's what was inside the box. He does like to craft, but that's not what he was hoping for Christmas. So it was a pretty funny little moment. And I remember posting that picture on Facebook. And of course, all my paper crafting friends were like, "Yay, scrapbooking supplies." It was funny. We had a good time laughing about it. And I also want to show you there. I am holding up a peace sign because my husband gave me this really cool hat. So I put it on and I was just throwing a fun little, piece, but it may not. I just want to make sure you could see what I was doing with my hands there. I will go ahead and get all of these edges inked up and then everything adhered down to my white base cardstock, and then we can start the fun embellishing process. So as I mentioned, this Little Bit Festive came with a bunch of punch outs. This tree is cut out from a pocket card, and I love having all of these shapes ready to go. Of course, they coordinate because they came with this kit. So what I'm doing is looking for bits of ephemera to help support the story. So of course, it's Christmas Eve. We're opening gifts, and I'm looking for things to kind of just represent that. We've got a bow here that's blue. And then, of course, stockings. We did have stockings hung that night. There's a little ornament that could work. And I will probably dig through there a little bit more thoroughly, but I won't make you watch me sort through this entire process. The sleigh's cute. Now that's shoe fly. This might work for a title. And I absolutely love the candy canes. So I am literally just kind of tossing some things down and waiting for a little inspiration to strike and the ideas to develop. Last year, Stampin' Up! Came out with some mix and match ephemera packs. So several of these came from that collection also. And let's just kind of, I really do like the tree down here. Plus, we have a lot of open space. And then maybe the bear. This toy truck is very cute. We could use a pop of red up top. And then the presents make sense under the tree, right? And this could be a little stuffed bear. So I'm liking that little grouping. We could go with that. And then maybe the stockings hung from the top. I know there were a few more stockings. So let me see if I can find those. And maybe we can bring the red up to the top with those stockings. So I have to kind of be mindful. That's cute. That says Merry and Bright. That's left over from some Christmas cards I made last Christmas. This car, I'm wondering if this might look better, almost like a toy car, right? If we put it down here grouped with the presents and toys, I think it gives more of that vibe under the tree. I'm liking that. Let's go with that. That fits that area perfectly. Now, this little stamped image is from the Peaceful Season, and I don't believe that is available any longer. But I had this ready to go, and that might make a nice title. I don't know, we could go either way. So we'll just kind of let that develop. I do like this stocking down here. I would love to hear if you have been inspired by all of the Christmas in July projects being shared in the crafty community. Are you getting a jump start on your Christmas cards or maybe just dusted off your Christmas papers like I'm doing here? I thought about working on my December daily because I really do want to get that done, but they all need to get done, right? So just one layout at a time. I do, like I said earlier, want a pop of red up there. So I had that little half tag and I'm trying to work that in. You will see me fuss back and forth. I decided to cut out the word memories with the mini alpha die. It actually fits in that little blue strip like I did that on purpose, right? Like I thought about it ahead of time. So this is a really fun font. It's more of a casual font as to where Christmas is a little scripty. I do love mixing my fonts and I feel like my photos are very casual. So it works well. I've definitely gotten my money's worth from this alphabet die as well as the alphabet a la mode. While sorting through all of my ephemera bits, I found these smaller elements that might be perfect for just layering bits. And I found these stockings, which are very cute. But, I think those are just not right. So I need to save room for my journaling. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. But I do want to finish off this embellishment cluster. It needs more layered pieces. It just felt a little bit unfinished to me. So I'm liking the little holly sprigs in there. That is looking good. It can be very easy to go overboard when you have all of these pieces ready to go. Like I pulled these presents, but I don't think I need them. So we'll set those aside for another project. Now I'm measuring this spot. It's about 3 inches by maybe 2 that I have for my journaling. So I used a text box to size that, printed it out on my printer, and now I'm just dovetailing the bottom here to give it a little bit of character. And then we will just put it in that spot below my photo. Let me grab my spatula, my trusty spatula, slide that up underneath. And, I think that dovetails a little too steep. I don't like it. So I'm going to give it a little trim. And then it'll now be a shallower dovetail. So more of that candy cane stripe paper will show around the bottom half of it. There's just a lot of white, on the bottom of this, and I didn't think it looked quite balanced. So let's see how this trimmed up version is. And yeah, that's a lot better. Now, I did go and print that photo of Clayton with his close to my heart box, and I was thinking I could put that here as kind of a flip of the design on the other side. So, if this is feeling too busy for you, another alternative solution would be a flip flap. So, we have these handy 3x3 flip flaps. You could put this extra photo in here, and then obviously it wouldn't be dovetailed. I'd print that on a 3x3 square, and it'd be on the flip side and then it would be layered over there so you have all of this open for a cleaner look. Now, I don't feel like it's too busy. I actually am okay with it. So let's go ahead and commit. I'm going to put my journaling there and then this extra photo right here. Do I want this layered under my photo? Maybe. No, I actually like a little bit of space. So we will scoot that back over so we have some of the red paper showing. I, of course, need to finish off my tag, and while I was digging, I happened to notice a few gold bows in here, so we might as well put them to good use, right? They've just been waiting for a spot in the scrapbook, so wait no more, gold thread. You have landed on a page. I like to use micro glue dots for these. If it wasn't already tied, I'd have tied it through the tag, but since it was already in a bow, let's just go with it. I want to bring the sketch back in and take a look at the changes I made. So over here, I added the additional photo. I added an embellishment cluster in the lower corner, bumped the title over just a bit, and on the right-hand page, the embellishments are the same, the journaling is the same. Actually, I kept this the same except for these two photos. I used two, but it's the same footprint. So I love the title. That turned out really great, and my little cluster of toys under the Christmas tree. I think that's fun, and I hope this was helpful in inspiring you to, like I said, dust off those, Christmas papers and put them to work. I have a link for our sketchbooks in the description box below. And of course, don't forget to check out what my friends on the creative design team have done. If you've not already watched their videos, you can click this playlist right here on the right for more crafty inspiration for your Christmas projects.